The year is 1337. In the Great Hall of Westminster, Edward III of England makes a declaration that will echo across a century. He claims the throne of France, not as a foreign conqueror, but as its rightful king. The French naturally disagree. What begins as a dynastic quarrel between cousins will become the longest, bloodiest, and most transformative conflict medieval Europe has ever seen. But this war doesn't start in 1337. Its roots reach back decades, tangled in marriage alliances, broken oaths, and a single fatal question: who has the right to rule France? In 1328, Charles IV of France dies without a male heir. The Capetian dynasty, which has ruled France for over 3 centuries, ends. The French crown passes to Philip VI, a cousin from a cadet branch. But across the Channel, Edward III of England has his own claim. His mother, Isabella, was the daughter of Philip IV of France. Through her, Edward argues, he is the rightful heir. The French reject this. They invoke an old Frankish law, Salic law, which bars inheritance through the female line. Edward is furious, but for now, he bides his time. The real spark comes from Gascony. This rich wine-producing region in southwestern France is held by the English king, but as a vassal of the French crown. Philip VI demands Edward pay homage. Edward refuses to kneel to a man he considers a usurper. Tensions escalate. Philip confiscates Gascony. Edward responds by formally claiming the French throne. And so, in 1337, the 100 Years' War begins. The early campaigns are English triumphs. In 1340, Edward's fleet destroys the French navy at the Battle of Sluys, securing control of the Channel. 6 years later, at Crécy, the English longbowmen shatter a much larger French army. The French knights, proud and heavily armoured, charge again and again into a hail of arrows. They die in their thousands. The English lose fewer than 100 men. Crécy is a revelation. It shows that disciplined infantry, armed with the right weapon, can defeat the flower of chivalry. The longbow, a simple wooden weapon in the hands of English and Welsh archers, becomes the terror of the age. It can pierce armour at 200 yards. A skilled archer can loose 12 arrows a minute. Against them, the French knights are helpless. In 1356 at Poitiers, it happens again. Edward's son, the Black Prince, leads a smaller English force against King John II of France. The French charge. The arrows fall. The king himself is captured and taken to England in chains. France is humiliated. The Treaty of Bretigny in 1360 forces France to cede vast territories to England and pay a ruinous ransom for their king. But the war is far from over. In 1364, Charles V becomes King of France. He is no warrior, but he is shrewd. He appoints Bertrand du Guesclin, a tough Breton knight, as his constable. Together, they change French strategy. No more grand charges. No more pitched battles. Instead, they wage a war of attrition. They avoid the English in the field, harass their supply lines, and recapture castles one by one. By the time Charles V dies in 1380, France has clawed back almost everything it lost. Then comes a long, uneasy truce. Both kingdoms are exhausted. England is racked by internal strife. France descends into civil war between 2 rival factions, the Armagnacs and the Burgundians. The French crown weakens. The country bleeds. In 1415, a young English king named Henry V decides to revive his ancestors' claim. He lands in Normandy with a small but disciplined army. At Agincourt, on a muddy field in northern France, he faces a French force 3 times his size. The French knights, weighed down by armour, struggle through the mud. The English archers, positioned on the flanks, unleash volley after volley. The French are slaughtered. Henry loses perhaps a few hundred men. The French lose thousands, including much of their nobility. Agincourt is a catastrophe for France. Henry presses his advantage. He conquers Normandy, city by city. In 1420, he forces the mad King Charles VI to sign the Treaty of Troyes. The treaty disinherits Charles's son, the Dauphin, and names Henry V as heir to the French throne. Henry marries Charles's daughter, Catherine. For a moment it seems the war is over. England and France will be united under one crown. But in 1422, both Henry V and Charles VI die within months of each other. Henry's infant son, Henry VI, is proclaimed king of both England and France. The Dauphin, now calling himself Charles VII, refuses to accept this. He retreats south of the Loire and continues the fight. France is split in two. For years, the English and their Burgundian allies dominate. They besiege Orléans, the key to the south. If Orléans falls, Charles's cause is lost. The Dauphin's court is demoralized. His treasury is empty. His nobles bicker. It seems only a miracle can save France. And then, in 1429, a miracle arrives. Her name is Joan of Arc. She is 17 years old, a peasant girl from Lorraine. She claims to hear the voices of saints, telling her to drive the English from France and crown Charles king at Reims. Most dismiss her as mad. But Charles, desperate, gives her a chance. Joan rides to Orléans. She wears armour. She carries a banner. She does not fight, but her presence electrifies the French troops. Within days, the siege is broken. The English retreat. Joan then leads Charles through enemy territory to Reims, where he is crowned king in the great cathedral, as French kings have been for centuries. The coronation is a turning point. It legitimizes Charles. It gives the French hope. Joan is captured a year later by the Burgundians, sold to the English, and tried for heresy. In 1431, she is burned at the stake in Rouen. She is 19 years old, but her impact endures. The French fight with renewed conviction. The English, once invincible, begin to falter. In 1435, the Duke of Burgundy switches sides, abandoning his English allies and making peace with Charles VII. This is the beginning of the end for England. Charles reorganizes his army, creating a professional standing force with artillery. The French begin to win. Town after town, castle after castle, they reclaim their land. In 1450, the French crush the English at Formigny. In 1453, at Castillon, they destroy the last English army in France. Bordeaux falls. Gascony, held by the English for 300 years, is lost. By the end of 1453, England holds only Calais. 100 Years' War is over. But what does it cost? France is devastated. Whole regions are depopulated. Famine and plague, which swept through Europe during the war, have killed millions. The economy is shattered. Yet France emerges stronger. The war has forged a sense of national identity. The French no longer see themselves as subjects of feudal lords, but as citizens of France. The monarchy, under Charles VII and his successors, centralizes power. The age of feudalism is ending. England too is transformed. The loss of France is a humiliation. The English nobility, who have spent a century fighting abroad, return home with nothing to show for it. Rival factions blame each other. Within 2 years of the war's end, England plunges into its own civil war, the Wars of the Roses. The 100 Years' War has broken the English aristocracy, and the way wars are fought has changed forever. The longbow, the cannon, the professional soldier, these have made the armoured knight obsolete. Feudal levies give way to standing armies. Castles, once impregnable, crumble before artillery. The age of chivalry is dying. The age of gunpowder is beginning. The 100 Years' War is not one war, but many. It is a dynastic struggle, a national awakening, a social revolution. It is the story of kings and peasants, of archers and knights, of sieges and plagues. It is the story of Joan of Arc, a girl who heard voices and changed the course of history. And it is the story of two nations, England and France, forging their identities in fire and blood. When it ends in 1453, the medieval world is ending with it. The Renaissance is dawning. The modern age is beginning. And the 100 Years' War, for all its horror, has helped to bring it about.